Today I'm going to show you how I'm able to make $10,000 with a single trade consistently, and I'm going to show you on the charts how I did this, and then I'm also going to show you proof that I've done this, and then I'm going to also backtest it live in front of you guys right here and show you how you can actually find it in real time. And for some proof, here's a screenshot from my Discord that I sent. You can see I made $4,000 on literally one trade, okay? I'm going to show you exactly how I did this, and I've repeated this setup multiple times to get huge trades, exactly like this one. You can do it too. It's actually very simple, and I'll show you now. All right, the first thing I want to tell you guys is that this setup works on gold and NQ, and I'm sure it works on more assets, but I personally only trade gold and NQ. I don't even look at ES. I literally only trade gold and NQ, and the reason why I do this specifically is because gold is really good at trending, and this is a setup that works well in trending markets, and NQ is NQ. Everybody trades NQ. NQ has a lot of volume. It can trend, it can range, it can do anything. But personally, I actually like gold a little bit more for this strategy because those trends on gold, even here, you can see it. When you'll really see gold trending is when you can make a ton of money. Like right here, bang, huge trend to the downside. That's a huge trade, and I'll tell you how you can catch a lot of this move. Maybe not the entire move, but a lot more than what other people are catching. Okay, there's another trend right here. It is trending down. This is a major trade, guys. Look, right before it, an uptrend. Right here, a huge downtrend. The same thing also happens on NQ, but for huge trades, you usually want to use gold because if you just look at this right here, this is a 15-minute time frame. You can see there are some times when NQ does trend up, but a lot of the time, for NQ at least, it's not making as clean moves as gold is. You can see there's a lot more wicks and retraces, and those wicks and retraces are the type of things that will stop you out in a trailed stop loss. Those are the types of things that won't necessarily get you these full huge moves, like with gold, where you can literally just ride a ginormous move without getting stopped out. So to get into how to actually find these setups, what you're going to want to do is just get a simple indicator that's going to tell you when each session opens. You don't have to have an indicator, but it's a lot easier when you have something that is telling you. So I just added this ICT kill zones and pivots indicator. You can see it just tells you when each session starts. The reason why you want this is because each session brings in a significant increase in volume on gold. So like before Asia session, for example, right here, you can see candles were kind of choppy, and then right when Asia session starts, bang, huge move. Also in Asia session, huge move back down. Literally no chop. This, like the fact that there's not wicks right here, means that you can catch this pretty much this entire move, or maybe get taken out like right there on a trailed stop loss, which is still a huge move. So to actually catch these setups, I'm going to show you on the chart what it looks like, and then I'm going to do a FX replay test of it to show you what it looks like live. The first thing you want to do is before a session is about to begin, you want to mark out 15-minute fair value gaps. So this is a 15-minute fair value gap right here. What you can also do is mark out the 15-minute gaps that are to the left, so like from super far ago. So after you're marking out your fair value gaps on the 15-minute, you literally just go onto the 1 minute. And what you want to do is wait for a significant increase in volatility and a significant change in how candles are moving. So this is something that's easier to see when you're doing it live. But just to kind of show you, you can see right here at the beginning of this Asia session, it was moving very slow, very choppy. These candles are super spaced apart. These are very choppy conditions, okay? This candle right here is pretty good, but if you look at the volume, it's kind of, on average, it's like the same as the other candles around it. It's a little bit bigger, but it's not significantly bigger. However, as you keep going, you can see it's still chopping. There's another big candle right here. If you look at the volume now, you can see the candles before it were extremely small. This candle is much, much bigger. This is just showing an increase in volume in the trading that's going on. So now you're looking for your entry to happen soon. I'm back on the 15-minute time frame, so we remember this 15-minute fair value gap, right? We want to find a 1-minute entry within that gap, so a 1-minute entry that's reacting off of that gap. So we're going back to these two candles, which are super high volume. We're looking for price to go into that gap right here. Bang, huge candle into this gap. Now we're looking for an inverse fair value gap on the 1-minute time frame to take our entry off of. So this is a 1-minute fair value gap. I'm just going to turn it green because this is our entry confluence. We inverse it extremely strongly. And guys, when you're watching this live, these three candles right here are going to be significantly moving faster than like these three candles right here. You can even tell this candle is huge. This candle is a lot bigger than these. This candle is huge. When you're watching this live, it'll look like the candles are just kind of popping like that. Versus before that, it was kind of just barely moving. It's kind of chopping. As soon as you see something like this, you enter long, you put your stop loss below the 15-minute gap, so right there. For your take profit, you can target the next 15-minute confluence, whether that's a 15-minute high. There's a 15-minute high right here, and then there's this 15-minute fair value gap from earlier that we marked out. So you can set your take profit either at this high or this high. And you can see neither of them got hit, but I'm about to tell you why that does not matter, okay? So you enter long and you start seeing it go up. Once you see something like this type of candle where it's significantly far away from your entry, what you want to do is you want to add into that position. So as soon as you see, first of all, there's an increase in volume from these two candles right here, and it's super far away from your entry. So what you want to do here is you want to add into your position. So let's say you got in here with like $700 risk if you're trying to build a buffer on your eval. You add in another contract, you add in, let's say if you went in with 5 minis, you want to add in 2 more, at least 2, maybe 3. Once you add in more, your average entry is going to be moved up, and you don't have to go break even here. Instead, what you can do is you can move your stop loss a little bit higher so that instead of risking like, let's say 1,000, 1,200 now, you can move your stop loss up and you go back to risking only $700. The reason why you want to add into positions like this is because they're already going in your favor. So the market has already shown you that it wants to continue higher. And you can turn a trade that would initially make you around $1,400 into a trade that will make you around $2,000 or $2,500. All you have to do now is just trail your stop loss correctly, and don't be scared when you're trailing your stop loss, okay? Because a lot of people will get taken out stupidly because they're scared. The only time you would want to move your stop loss after adding in would be to go to break even. So I would say you go to break even on a candle like this where it's pushing up higher out of a consolidation zone. So this right here is kind of a chop zone in your trade. During this chop, you have to be very patient. It can be scary, but you have to understand the risk to reward on these trades is huge. As soon as this candle breaks out of this chop zone, you can see right here, you're trailing your stop loss to break even. So now you're in this trade for $0. You're literally in this trade for free. As soon as this leg up happens, I'm trailing my stop loss to here. And then you can see right here, you would have gone taken out on the trailed stop loss. But guys, in several other cases, it has just kept going up higher and higher and higher. You just want to stay in the trade for as long as possible. And again, if you guys are more aggressive like me, you can add more and more into these positions. Once you start adding and adding into your positions, you'll notice that you go from a 1 to 3 to something like a 1 to 5. Even though the position tool shows a 1 to 3 like this, in reality, when you start adding more into the position, it becomes a bigger and bigger take profit while the risk stays relatively the same. The only thing that's changing is that your stop loss is moving up higher and higher, and you're essentially trailing your stop loss. But your take profit is getting bigger and bigger. Let's say you get taken out on this candle right here. You will literally be up like $800, $700. And so while it might be annoying to you guys that you're getting out on a trailed stop loss, maybe you didn't hit full take profit, you're still getting a huge risk to reward. And you had the potential to make like $3,000 when you get up here. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a setup. Asia session's already open, so I'm going to mark out where it happened. It should be at 20 right there. So that's the beginning of Asia session, and you're on the 15-minute time frame. Again, you're just looking for fair value gaps that are forming. What you want to do right now is get in on this shorts trend, and you're going to try to get in on a 15-minute fair value gap, which it looks like one is forming right here. Also, this 15-minute got inversed just off of that candle close. So you can see right there, new 15-minute fair value gap formed. Now we go to the 1 minute, and we're looking for a retrace into the gap, and then a short out of the gap to continue in line with this trend. And I'm going to show you exactly how to enter. There's a gap right here that I'm waiting for it to be inversed. Should get, okay, yeah, there it got inversed on this candle. We're going to put our stop loss above the 15-minute fair value gap. Take profit is going to be, doesn't matter because we're going to just try to ride the trend. I'm going to go in with 1%, so $500 initial risk. But remember, we're going to add more into this position as it goes down. So let's just see what happens. We're going to try to find a spot to go break even or add more. Okay, so this is a chop zone and then a breakout, and then now it's back in the chop zone. I honestly just want to wait to see what's going to happen. I want a big candle to the downside to add in on. Right now we're still in this chop area, so I want to just wait. Okay, so this is a pretty big candle leg down out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more into the position. I'm just going to do it on the close of this candle to get filled on FX replay. But what you want to do is you want to get in, put your take profit at the same spot. Save that. And then you can move your stop loss here down to wherever you feel comfortable. I'm just going to move it there. You could honestly probably go break even, but I'm just going to average this a bit to where I'm risking a little bit more than what I initially got in with. Honestly, that's kind of up to discretion. At some point, you're going to have to just let it ride anyways. I'm risking a little bit over 700, which is honestly good because I now have the opportunity to go from making 1,800 to well over 3,000, almost 4,000. And FX replay is kind of bad for adding into positions because it literally gives you two separate positions. But if you're on Top Step or if you're on Trading View, this would be one position and it would look like this. You would just have a trade that looks somewhat like this. So now we're just looking for a spot to trail stop loss. I'm like lightning clicking through this. Okay, so it's going back down. The trend is holding on gold. Honestly, this is like the middle of the night, so you guys might not be awake for these types of trades, but you can do this in New York session. I'm gonna go on the 5-minute time frame just to make the candles go by faster. Okay, bang. So huge leg down. Okay, I'm gonna put this one at break even. This one is at break even. I'm gonna put my stop loss there, so both of the stop losses are there, and we're just gonna ride the trend at this point. Okay, so when a huge candle move happens like this, you want to move at least one of them to be in profit, so you're in it. And it's really hard to do this on FX replay again. Top Step, this would literally just be one stop loss, one entry, one break even. But we're just literally going to keep watching. Okay, so now you would definitely be at 100% break even, but I'm pretty sure I'm trailed in profit, honestly. I don't know how these are working on FX replay because it's really hard to add into positions, but just let it play out. It should hit take profit. Okay, great. And that is a $3,000 TP off of what was initially $500 risk to reward. And obviously the way that my Discord trade was happening was a bigger RR, slightly better entry. But you can see I literally just backtested a random day on gold, caught a huge trade. And you have to be patient. Like, we literally had a bunch of chops. As long as you're keeping track of volume, you should know when to trail. I only trailed my stop loss when I had a lot of volume come into the trade. So after these candles, you can see it's a big increase in volume. This is London session. This huge increase in volume is where you start to trail your stop loss. You don't trail your stop loss during this, okay, because it's getting close to your stop loss, and no, you don't trail until you see a big increase in volume. That is a lot of shit on my chart now, but you can essentially see how this works. Hopefully now you guys are able to see how I'm able to make such huge trade wins. And honestly, if you're on an XFA, you should try to get at least one of these trades. Again, guys, I went into this trade with $500 risk, and I ended up making 3,400 something. That's more than a 1 to 6. It's almost a 1 to 7. And it's off of gold and the fact that gold likes to trend. If you look at this on the 15-minute time frame, what does it look like? Look at that. We just caught a huge ass move on gold. We basically just caught those huge legs that I was showing you guys at the beginning of the video. These are happening all the time. Look, there's one right here. There's one right here. One right here. One right here. I'm basically just showing you guys how to catch these huge moves. Hopefully you guys are able to get at least a little bit better understanding of this strategy and this trend strategy setup. The biggest aspects to know are adding into positions, following the trend, and paying attention to volume and trailing your stop loss. And you guys can repeat this setup to make a ton of money. You only need like one of these trades, literally just one of these trades, to get a payout on an XFA. Because think about it, if you get one of these trades, all you need to do is get winning days after that. You need to make $150 winning days. And if you guys can't make $150 winning days, then you probably just need to learn a basic strategy where you can just catch 1-to-1s or 1-to-1.5s, and that'll make you 150 winning days. So that is how you guys can get easy payouts. That's how you can make 10K from a single trade. Hopefully you guys are a little bit more educated. I know this is kind of a long video, but I hope I explained it well. I like to ramble, but yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, I have free Discord, which is linked in my bio, and I have code CADE on Alpha Futures for 50% off, maximum possible discount. See y'all in the next one. Good luck. Try this out on your next account.